Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first virtual recording of Working With. I'm Michelle Rose, the CEO of Greater Cleveland Works. We are here with Nicole Rosenbaum, a program officer at the Cleveland Foundation focused on workforce development and talent. We are doing this virtually because we're both a little under the weather. And if you're watching this, you probably are too, because it is going around. But thanks as always for watching and for reading the Skill Set newsletter. So, the reason we are interviewing Nicole today is because she represents the Cleveland Foundation, which is one of our biggest funders. Last year, we received a really meaningful and impactful $450,000 grant from the Cleveland Foundation to expand our capacity at Greater Cleveland Works. And generally, Nicole is a great thought partner and colleague that we talk all the time with about how we can improve the system. So, Nicole, thank you for joining us. Nicole has a really interesting background. She's also been a teacher and workforce practitioner. And Nicole, I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your role now and how we work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Michelle. And as you said, I'm a program officer at the Cleveland Foundation. But what does that really mean? No 2 days look alike, which I'm sure is very similar in your world. I get to talk to amazing partners who are actually doing so much of the work on the ground, helping individuals connect right to career pathways. And really, at the highest level, the Cleveland Foundation really invests in workforce development because just like Greater Cleveland Works, we're really passionate about creating those pathways to economic mobility, making sure that Cleveland residents can access and advance into jobs that support families and strengthen our regional economy as well. And so I get to meet with partners on the ground, learn what they're doing. I get to review applications and actually make some grant making decisions. But I also get to work with a lot of different stakeholders to make sure that we are connecting all of the various activities going on in the workforce development system to make sure that we're aligning.
Tell us a little bit more about the Cleveland Foundation's big new vision generally. We know you have a new home in Midtown and new leadership in the last handful of years. How do you fit into that overall objective?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the Cleveland Foundation, first and foremost, is known as the first community foundation in the world. And so, under Lillian Curry's new leadership, she has really given us a charge of, the we can't be the number one community foundation of the second poorest big city in the country, right? And so we know there's a lot of need in Cleveland, and despite the great investments and the many different initiatives happening in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, we've really failed to move the needle for the population and residents here, right? And so we're really focused on how do we make sure that place and people feel the growth of a region, a strong region. And so we're really centering our work a lot in growing the Northeast Ohio region, but also making sure that residents in Cleveland have the preparation, the skills, and the access, right, to those opportunities. And so it's about growing opportunities, but also making sure that people here are ready for those opportunities. And we also do a lot of place-based grant making to ensure that, as the region grows, that people still feel like they belong in their community. They can see themselves in their community. Their culture is preserved, and everything that they really need in a vibrant neighborhood is right next to them. And so, again, we really invested in Greater Cleveland Works because we know that a strong public workforce system is critical to growing both opportunities and making sure that the people here have access to those opportunities.
Now we're going to take it back down to your history and a little bit about your goals for the year. These are questions we ask all of our guests on Working With. This is always a fun one. I learn a lot about people from. What was your first job?
So, I think all of us have informal first jobs all the time that you're piecing together, and you're like, huh, so I had a fourth grade teacher who asked me to help babysit her son when I was, I think, in fifth grade at the time, and she stayed close to home. But I would say that
Yeah.
my first job, like where I went off by myself, I was a lifeguard at 15. And so I
Mm,
did that for many, many summers, which was really fun. If I could be a
yeah.
career lifeguard, I probably would have been. But it taught me a lot about, purpose really. That, in
Hmm.
the summer when a lot of my friends were kind of staying at home, trying, fidgeting their thumbs, I was working and making money and putting that away. And it's actually, I would say, a huge reason for the work ethic that I have today. But yes, lifeguarding in the summer.
I love that. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that the city of Cleveland is always looking for lifeguards each summer. So if you're watching this and that sounds really appealing to you, check out the Parks and Rec department.
They give you a
That's
whistle. They give you a whistle. It's
It's a
very
lot of
empowering.
responsibility for a 15-year-old,
It
but
is. It
it
is.
feels like it was a great start for you.
It was.
So you've told us a little bit about your role now, no typical day, but there must be one goal you're working towards in 2026. What is that North Star eye on the prize item for you?
Yeah, and it's a lofty one, and I think this is one that a lot of Cleveland is maybe share. Well, hopefully we share this goal, but really strengthening how we define and measure workforce success, right? Moving
Mhm.
beyond just placements and outcomes, but more towards retention, advancement, job quality. And so in 2026, I want us to be clearer as a system and more disciplined about how workforce investments translate into real economic mobility for individuals and families. So, big, lofty goal, but making workforce development investments, right, more tangible, and understanding what those true outcomes really are for people.
Last question. What's one thing that inspires you?
So I
It's hard
think
to pick
being in,
one, I'm sure.
yeah, it's hard to pick one because there's so many great things happening in Cleveland and Cuyahoga. We have so many great partners, but I think really I'm inspired by partners who are staying grounded in the people while pushing for these large system level changes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you work at the systems level, it's really easy to forget how the rubber meets the road, right? All of these big
Mhm.
decisions that we're making, but how is this going to actually affect people in the day to day? And so I think what really inspires me are the practitioners on the ground who are connecting these huge system level efforts to right here are the workers, here are the people that we are serving, and this is how it looks like for them on the ground. So really just that rubber meets the road and making sure that people are actually getting what they need from these larger systems, policies, etc.
Great. Well, thank you again for joining us. Really appreciate it and all your insights. Always good to talk to you and more to come. But thank you everyone for watching, working with, and we'll see you next time.
Everyone